5 things you need to know for the November Bitcoin astrology. So welcome back to the Crypto Astro channel, bringing a radical, innovative new approach to crypto analysis, combining technical analysis with astrology. But none of this content is financial or investment advice. This content is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. Okay, so here's the Bitcoin chart. You know, a lot of people are getting excited. We're looking good overall. Things are looking good on the technicals. The only thing is we're not getting huge volume yet, but let's also dive into the Bitcoin astrologies. That's what we do on the channel. I generate a astrology chart for Bitcoin. It has been highly accurate so far, depending on the experience you have. And if you're very experienced reading the Bitcoin astrology chart, it can help a lot with analyzing the price chart and comparing it to the technical analysis. We've been discovering a lot of things over the past couple years. So let's take a look at what is in store for November and if we see any trends that could help us continue our 89% accurate predictions here with Bitcoin. Okay, so we take a look at the astrology. We open up this and so one thing that's coming up here that we have to be, well, at least I'm a little cautious about is we have Jupiter squaring the Bitcoin Uranus. Now, this is slightly bearish. This could bring a dump, mainly because we also have on the same day, we have Mars opposite Mercury here. And so that's another bit negative transit there. Typically when there's opposites, especially a malevolent planet like Mars is opposite the Bitcoin Mercury, that can be negative. So we could see a correction. I don't know how deep, but it might not be very deep because we also have the sun trining the Bitcoin Uranus, which is bullish on November 10th. So we could have some more volatility here in the next 5 days, really. The middle of the month. And then we also have a new moon on the 15th. And there could be a wild card with that because, well, I'll be coming out with a video on exactly why that is. Be coming out. Next video will be about the November 15th. Is it a full moon? Yeah, I believe full moon. And how that could affect the Bitcoin and crypto charts. Okay, we also have the good news is at the same time we have this Saturn sextiling the Bitcoin sun all throughout November. Good news is this is a very, very positive transit heading into direct hit on December 16th. The slightly bad news is we're not getting a direct hit. It's just in orb. It's just getting very close to getting that exact sextile to the Bitcoin sun. Okay, another point for the month of November for Bitcoin. We go even further than just Bitcoin astrology because, you know, I want to bring together all of the most powerful tools. So we look at some of the most powerful technical analysis as well. I got this from one of my colleagues who studies the macro markets, and he has been quite accurate. But this is the global liquidity. So as you can see, when Bitcoin had its, you know, all-time high in March, we fell off a cliff with global liquidity, and that's arguably why Bitcoin could not get to a new all-time high until now. The only problem is, the only concern is that you would think Bitcoin heading into a new all-time high, you would think global liquidity would be going up like it was earlier this year, but we are going down right now. So that is a bit of a concern that we are not getting the global liquidity pump that we need to send Bitcoin much higher. So this could be really some headwinds for the Bitcoin price chart. So that's a bit concerning. Unless we see some major spike up in the next week or so, will continue to be a concern. All right, so I'm just honest on this channel. I don't sugarcoat it. We look at the data. We look at the facts, okay? If you don't like this information, well, you could always just switch YouTube channels and go watch some Moonboy channels that just constantly tell you good news. But I am here to help you get the most honest, in integrity information so you can succeed. All right. Now, this is very, very interesting. So, well, let's actually pull up the Russell 2000 chart. I've looked at this over and over and over. This is very important to keep an eye on because we still have not gotten past the all-time high from 2021 when Bitcoin had the all-time high. Typically, the Russell 2000 breaks out into new all-time highs, sending crypto much higher. We have not gotten an all-time high for the Russell in 3 years. So arguably, the Russell is still, has not gotten into that major bullish phase, potentially blow off top. So, but the good news is, wow, we are getting very, very close to setting a new all-time high here, okay? And historically, let's look at the chart in the past. So this is the idea that the crypto markets and really the broader macro markets right now, the Dow Jones, S&P 500, the NASDAQ, the Russell 2000, arguably are not in an expansion phase of the macro markets, but really towards the end of the market cycle. Okay, and there are a lot of reasons to set that hypothesis and that thesis. But if we look back to the last time that the markets had really kind of a blow off top end of the market phase was arguably the dot-com bubble. And if you think about it, we've had these crypto bubbles, and this could be very similar to the dot-com bubble, where things could potentially get extremely, extremely bullish. Everyone becomes a genius. Everyone invests in this new technology. And then the bubble pops. And this it's probably not just crypto, but it could be the broader markets, the broader macro markets as well. And so what happened back in the dot-com bubble from 1998 to 2000 was the Russell, it had the all-time high back here, similarly to 2021 back here. And then we'll take a look at what happened right when it set a new all-time high in the dot-com bubble. So it set a new all-time high right here, and it really went to the moon before the bubble popped and it fell off a cliff. So could we be in a phase more like this? If so, what happened to the broader markets during this time, and how could this help us foresee what could happen with crypto? Well, here is further analysis from the blockchain backer. He's an incredible technical analysis expert. And so he actually compared the Bitcoin 2017 bubble pop to the Dow Jones market right now. His thesis is that the broader markets, the Dow Jones, is eventually going to be heading into a bubble pop. Potentially not anytime soon, but maybe within the next year to 2 years, because according to his analysis, we compare it to the Bitcoin chart. The charts don't lie, and the Dow Jones is behaving similarly to where Bitcoin was back in 2017, with much further upside to go. Really, the most exciting part to go, where things really go straight up before there's actually a very scary correction before heading up to the all-time high. But look at this. I mean, the massive correction there. So we could be headed for the Dow Jones, and thus this will affect crypto and every market, really, maybe even real estate. But real estate, not as much, probably. But yeah, the major volatility, major possible correction here before heading to the mega peak, new all-time highs. So it could be this crazy, really exciting phase of the market. Could be coming up, I would think, next year. But perhaps we're going to get this really scary dump either before the end of this year or next year at some point. So I thought that was very, very interesting. And this is a further analysis comparing the Russell. You know, the Russell broke out into new all-time highs. We actually saw the Dow Jones fall off. The green is the Dow Jones, this green line. We saw the Dow Jones and the S&P 500 fall off, giving more liquidity to the Russell 2000 before setting that all-time peak and then falling off a cliff. So it really didn't last too long. I mean, Russell 2000 could metaphorically be representing the altcoin market, and perhaps Bitcoin's kind of like the Dow Jones S&P 500 going off on a setting new all-time highs. And perhaps we're going to get an altcoin run here, either before the end of this year or heading into next year. All right, so that's more exciting news there, especially for the altcoin investors. And lastly, the 5 things you need to know. We're also going to be getting a nice Mercury retrograde at the end of this month. So we go towards November 25th, and we'll see that this planet right here, Mercury, the outer circle is where the planets are in the sky right now. That planet is going to turn red. We could make this a little bit bigger, and hopefully you guys can see that. I might have to zoom out a little bit, but that planet is going to be, oh shoot. Okay, let me zoom out. Boom, boom. And you guys should see this planet here, Mercury. All right, so that's going to be going retrograde. That's a little bit concerning, about 75% chance there could be a correction. So we have to keep our eyes on the charts at the end of November because there could be a dumperoo. Interesting thing is, if we look more closely at what transits it's going to make with Bitcoin, giving you guys some really solid information. Subscribe if you haven't already for this high value free video. Typically I only give this information on my private group calls in my Crypto Astro Mastermind. But we are getting this Mercury squaring the Bitcoin Uranus right before it goes retrograde on the 18th. So could we see, if we don't get a correction on around the 12th, could we see one around the 18th? Really from the 18th through the end of the month, because we're also getting, Mercury is going to be squaring the Bitcoin Saturn when it goes retrograde. It's a little concerning. The only thing that could keep us out of the woods is Mercury is also sextiling the Bitcoin Neptune. So anyways, another dump. Not sure how big it will be, honestly. Either it's going to be a small dump or a big one. But yeah, it looks like we could get a volatility towards the end of the month. But the good news is that things are looking good after that. So, for the most part. But I'll have to give you guys a lot more information on December. There's basically just a lot of volatility. November. But things are looking good so far. All right, so hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely subscribe. Like this video if you haven't already, and leave me some comments. What do you guys think in the comments below? Let's even look at the Bitcoin market cap. Yep, looking good. New all-time highs. Sitting pretty. Bitcoin's looking good. How's the volume? The volume's decent. Wow, the volume's pretty good on the market cap. All right, and in future videos, we'll look at Ethereum and also Solana, so stay tuned, everybody. Let's see if we have any comments. I guess December mids start taking profits. You could. I mean, that's up to you. Hopefully you have a crypto strategy. If you don't, definitely make sure get some support and get a session with me or get a session with someone you trust who could help you create a really solid strategy. But yeah, if that's your strategies to take profits on the way up, and we're doing very well in December. I mean, honestly, if my portfolio gets a 3x from the initial money that I put in, then I'll probably take, well, my strategy is to take 20% profits. So if that happens in December, I will be doing that. Bitcoin astrology for the first half of November looked bearish. Shall we focus more on the sidereal astrology more? Not necessarily, because we still get in sidereal and in Western, we still get the same planetary aspects. So it's not that big of a difference. Do I think a big correction comes on March 14th, 2025? Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely in the cards. I mean, just statistically speaking, whenever we have a total lunar eclipse, we tend to have a big dump and or go into a bear market. So historically speaking, that's happened almost every single time. So yeah, there's a major tendency towards that. So big caution around that time, as you mentioned. Great comment. Good questions, guys. All right, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Subscribe so we can send this video higher. We need to get these videos out to more people. Thanks, everybody, for your support, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.